First at 9, this Thursday the 28th of November 2024. Silver lining. Heavy rainfalls to subside starting tomorrow. Early landslide warning, red notices for several districts extended. Rescheduled. Advanced level examination halted due to inclement weather to recommence on the 4th of December. Lenders' assurance. World Bank vows continued support for the newly elected government. Undeterred. West Container Terminal constructions to continue despite allegations against Adani, affirms the Ports Authority.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lankawama, Kiren Perata. ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
කට පරිස්සම් කරගත්තොත් අපි පරිස්සම්.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe වැස්සත් මට්ටුයි ගෙදරත් තිස්නේ.
This is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Sri Lanka's premier primetime English news bulletin, Derana First at 9. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and from around the world. In your top story this evening, the Department of Meteorology expects the heavy rainfall the island is experiencing at the moment to subside starting tomorrow. However, heavy rainfall above 100 millimeters is expected within the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organisation has extended the red alert landslide warnings issued to several divisional secretariats in the Matale, Kandy and Nuwara districts. The central province continued to remain severely affected by the heavy deluge that was experienced in most parts of the island during the past few days. During the past 24 hours, the highest rainfall was recorded from the Alkadu area in the Matale district, which is 150.3 millimeters. According to the Department of Irrigation, 40 large reservoirs and 50 medium-scale reservoirs are overflowing. Due to the continuous rainfall, 2 sluice gates of the Kotmale reservoir continue to remain open. Measures were also taken to keep these sluice gates of Polpitiya, Victoria, Lakshapana, Randenigala, Rantame, Polgolla and Gurugaloya opened as the heavy deluge is on the rise. Meanwhile, several incidents of landslides were reported in the Uva province. With mounds of earth falling onto the upcountry railway line at several locations, measures were taken to limit the transportation on the line from Colombo Fort to only up to Nanu Oya. In the north central province, meanwhile, several reservoirs including Rajanganaya, Angamua, Kalavawa and Nachuduva have started to overflow. In the Polonnaruwa district, all sluice gates of Parakrama Samudra remained open as authorities were left with no other option. Further, a similar situation was observed in the Kaudulla reservoir. In Manampitiya, 2 employees affiliated with a sand company who were trapped due to floods were rescued last evening by Civil Defence Force personnel after a nearly 3-hour-long operation. With floods inundating the Colombo-Batticaloa main road, police ordered a halt to motor traffic on the road. Further, heavy deluges continue to inundate the Somavati religious site. In the meantime, in the northwestern province, sluice gates of the Dadruoya remained open. Meanwhile, in the western province, with the water levels in the river Kalani on the rise, the low-lying areas were seen inundated. In the northern province, meanwhile, several areas of Jaffna and Mullaitivu remain inundated. Against this backdrop, Defence Secretary Air Vice Marshal Sampath Tuyakonta engaged in an inspection tour in the Jaffna district from a helicopter belonging to the Sri Lanka Air Force. Meanwhile, in the eastern province, the remains of 7 of the 8 people who went missing after the tractor they were travelling in toppled and was swept away by floodwaters at Karethu in the Ampara district on Tuesday evening were recovered this morning. Operations are underway in search of the other missing child. According to the Disaster Management Centre, inclement weather has affected 377,511 people belonging to 113,052 families. Taking the prevailing adverse weather into account, the centre urged the people residing on the banks of the river Mahaveli, Daduroya and river Kalani, as well as those residing in the vicinity of the Rajangane Reservoir and Malvatoya to remain vigilant of the possible flood situations. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organisation issued early landslide warnings to 9 districts. Out of them, red alert warnings, meaning evacuation if necessary, have been issued to several divisional secretariats in the Matale, Kandy and Nuwara districts. The Met Department is of the view that the deep depression over the southwest Bay of Bengal is likely to move slowly north-northwestwards closer to the east coast of Sri Lanka, and there is a possibility for further intensification. The department added that the influence of this system on the island's weather will gradually reduce after tomorrow.
මේ පද්ධතිය තවදුරටත් ගමන් කිරීමේ වේගය අඩාල වීමක් අපි දුටුවා සාමාන්‍ය පැයට කිලෝමීටර් 3ක වගේ වේගයක්. ඒතොර ඒ තත්ත්වයත් එක්ක තමයි තවදුරටත් මේ පද්ධතිය ගැඹුරු පීඩන අවපාතයක් ලෙස පවතින්නේ. එතකොට මේ පද්ධතියේ බලපෑම තවදුරටත් උතුරු ප්‍රදේශයට තමයි තියෙන්නේ. කියන්නේ උතුරු පළාතට වගේම ත්‍රිකුණාමලය දිස්ත්‍රික්කයටත් අපි තවදුරටත් මිලිමීටර් 100ට වැඩි තදවැසි අපේක්ෂා කරනවා ඉදිරි පැය 24 තුල. ඒ වගේම අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා වයම් පළාත, බස්නාහිර පළාත, සබරකමුව පළාත් සහ ගාල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයට විටින් විට වැසි හොගී කුරුම් සහිත වැසි අනිකුත් ප්‍රදේශවලට සවස් කාලයේදී හෝ රාත්‍රී කාලයේදී වැසි හොගී කුරුම් සහිත වැසි අපේක්ෂා කරනවා. කොහොමද දින 3ක් විතර යනකොට කොහොමත් මේ බලපෑම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවෙන් ඉවත් වෙනවා.
පිරිපුන් ජීවිතයකට ඔබ සමගින් පෙරට Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
චන්දරුසුමේ කාගෙන් මනාපේ සිංහ TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
In view of the prevailing adverse weather, the Department of Examinations has decided to postpone the GCE Advanced Level Examination by a further 3 days. Accordingly, the examination will recommence on the 4th of December and candidates will receive copies of the revised examination timetable on the 7th of December. The 2024 GCE Advanced Level Examination was originally scheduled to be held from the 24th of November until the 21st of December. However, in view of the prevailing adverse weather, the examinations for the subjects that were to be held yesterday, today and tomorrow were rescheduled for the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of December respectively. Against this backdrop, the Department of Examinations today convened a media briefing during which Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara announced that the examination schedule would be revised once again.
2024 वर्षයේ අධ්‍යයන පොත් සහතික පත්‍ර උසස් පෙළ විභාගය අපි කලින් තීරණය කරේ දින 3කින් කල් දැමීම සඳහා.
We previously decided to postpone the 2024 GCE Advanced Level Examination by 3 days. However, the examination is to be postponed by a further 3 days. Accordingly, the examination will be suspended until the 3rd of December, which means the examination will not be conducted during the 6-day period from the 27th of November until the 3rd of December. The examination will recommence on Wednesday, the 4th of December. On the 4th, the examination will be conducted in accordance with the current timetable. Accordingly, the first paper for chemistry, science for technology, Sinhala drama and theatre, Tamil drama and theatre and English drama and theatre will be held in the morning. Subsequently, the first paper for political science will be held in the afternoon. Afterwards, the examinations for the subjects that were originally scheduled for the 27th, 28th, 29th and 30th of November will be held on the 21st, 23rd, 27th and 28th of December respectively. Similarly, the examinations for the subjects originally scheduled for the 2nd and 3rd of December will be conducted on the 30th and 31st of December respectively. All candidates facing the examination will sit for the common general test on Saturday, the 7th of December. On that day, we will provide them with a copy of the revised exam timetable. Additionally, in the future, candidates would be able to download the timetable for their particular subjects from the official website of the examination department by entering either their index number for the examination or NIC number.
Fast track your career from O levels with eSoft.
ඩයිබටසෝල් සීනිවලින් පරිස්සම්වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
ප්‍රයිම් ගෲප් ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන ලෑන්ඩ් ලීසින් ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්.
Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Kalani wire කිසිගින්නක් නෑ.
කිසිගින්නක් නෑ. Kalani Fire Shield Wire.
The World Bank has pledged its continuous support to Sri Lanka in addressing critical development challenges as well as providing financial and technical assistance across multiple sectors. During a virtual meeting with President Anura Dissanayake yesterday, the President of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, also assured the World Bank's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's economic policies and poverty alleviation efforts. During the meeting, the World Bank Group's president revealed that Sri Lanka has been selected as one of the 20 countries to host the Integrated South Asia office, which is set to open in next year. President of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, emphasized his commitment to promoting job creation and addressing critical development challenges. These priorities include providing Sri Lanka with financial and technical assistance to implement innovative solutions in sectors such as education, healthcare, social protection and economic prosperity. Additionally, support extends to economic policy, finance, competitiveness, investments, institutional development and poverty alleviation. Efforts are also focused on advancing agriculture, water management, climate action, environmental sustainability, social inclusion, infrastructure and digital transformation. President Dissanayake meanwhile stressed the importance of increasing government revenue through digitalization while strengthening key sectors such as tourism, the maritime industry, state-owned enterprises and the energy sector, with a particular focus on encouraging investor participation in power generation. The President further discussed efforts to promote economic development in the north and east of Sri Lanka, particularly in improving education, healthcare and human resource development. He emphasized the need to improve vocational education alongside academic education to meet the evolving needs of the workforce in these regions. Additionally, World Bank President Banga revealed that Sri Lanka has been selected as one of the 20 countries to host the Integrated South Asia office, set to open on the 25th of July 2025. This initiative is a part of a broader plan to establish 20 integrated country offices aimed at improving coordination among 4 key World Bank Group institutions: the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the International Development Association, the International Finance Corporation and the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. Moody's Investors Service has provisionally assigned a rating of CAA1 to Sri Lanka's bonds that will be exchanged for default securities and place the country's CA national rating on watch for a potential upgrade. The agency explained that the CA rating indicates debt that is in default, but with some prospects for recovery in principal and interest. Moody's also stated that the existing CA rating on Sri Lanka's foreign currency senior unsecured debt, which is in default and will be exchanged for new debt, reflects the expected financial loss and remain unchanged. The decision to place the issuer rating on review for upgrade reflects the government's announcement of the exchange offer, which, if successful, would conclude the restructuring of its international bonds held by private sector creditors and reduce the default risk on new and future issuances. The agency emphasized that Sri Lanka's willingness and capacity to implement reforms are key factors driving this rating action. And now let's take a look at some of the latest political developments.
ජාතික ලැයිස්තුව ගැන කතා කරන්නෙම නැද්ද?
නෑ අපි තීන්දුව තිරන ටික ඉදිරි දින කිහිපය තුල ගන්නවා.
දැන් අර කුරුණෑගල മന്ത്രിවරයෙක් ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා මේ ජාතික ලැයිස්තු മന്ത്രിතුර හම්බුන්නේ නැත්නම් ජීවිතේ නැති කරගන්න තමයි වෙන්නේ.
මෙහෙමයි ඉතින් මේ මැතිවරණ ක්‍රියාවලිය තුල ජයග්‍රාහකකින් සතුටු වෙනවා. යම් කිසි පසුබෑමකට ලක් වෙන කොට්ටාසයක් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒ අයගේ කතාවත් බොහොම සංවේදී. නමුත් ඉතින් වැඩ කටයුතු කිරීමේදී ක්‍රමවේදයක් තිබෙනවා. අපි ඒ ක්‍රමවේදයට අනුකූලව වැඩ කටයුතු කරනවා.
ජාතික ලැයිස්තු දුර සම්බන්ධ මොකද කියන්නේ?
ගෑස් සිලින්ඩරේ ජාතික ලැයිස්තු මන්ත්‍රී දුර.
When talking about the two nationalist seats of the New Democratic Front, they have already appointed Ravi Karunanayake for one of them. Then there is Kanchan Wijesekara, Faisal Mustafa and Nimal Lanka who have been proposed for the remaining seat. The leadership committee of the New Democratic Front will soon take its final decision regarding this issue after former President Ranil Wickremesinghe's visit to India.
ওই පක්ෂවලට ඕනවට වැඩිය එකතු කරගෙන බොරු බලාපොරොත්තු දීලා බොරු පොරොන්දු දීලා බොරු සන්දාන අටවගෙන ගියාම ওই වගේ ප්‍රශ්න ඇති වෙනවා. අපි පක්ෂයක් හැටියට අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය උඩ අපි එක ප්‍රතිපත්තියක හිටියේ. ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්තියත් එක්ක ඉදිරියට යන්න අපිට ওই කියන ප්‍රශ්න කිසිවක් නැහැ.
අපි මේ ආණ්ඩුව ගත්තේ 225කට මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතලා නෙමෙයි.
We didn't come to power on the assumption that the 225 members of parliament alone are capable of governing the country. People had appointed 225 MPs previously. We have 13,000 officers at the grassroots level across the country. That is what we believed in. Everyone should unite now. Put aside political differences. We will not treat people differently based on their political affiliations. Someone had built an office of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. However, when it comes to receiving Aswasuma benefits, we will make sure that they too receive them.
අනේ අනිවාර්යෙන් අපි දෙනවා. රස්සාවක් හිමින් ඕන නම් දෙනවා.
Coming colors no good කියලා තියෙනවානේ වචනයක්. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා හදපු
There is a phrase says that coming colors no good. The policy integrity of the IMF program created by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe has to be continued by the current government for economic activities in 2025. If this is the case, we could raise questions as to whether the economy would be regulated by a Wickremesinghe administration without Ranil Wickremesinghe.
කියලා අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් විදියට අහන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා.
කිව්වනේ පළවෙනි සුමානේ ඩොලර් මිලියන 100ක් එනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ ආවහම කියලා.
The new government said that the country would receive $100 million a week after they come to power. Did that happen? No. They continuously spoke of people's hunger and sorrow. However, now they spent exorbitantly to indulge in entertainment despite those issues still existing. It could have been justified if they enjoyed themselves after resolving the people's issues.
ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සෝගිනි ඉවර කළා ඒගොල්ලෝ ගිහිල්ලා සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා නම් කමක් නැහැ.
And with that, let's take a look at some local news across the island in brief. Digadantu 1, one of the elephants with the longest tusks in Sri Lanka, has passed away in the early hours of today from electrocution after coming into contact with an electric fence in Andiyagala, Hinguruvava. The tusker was often seen in the Kalawava National Park and was a popular attraction among tourists. Meanwhile, a suspect involved in the 18th of November bank heist in Minuwangoda, in which 75 million rupees were stolen, has reportedly fled to Dubai. This was revealed during the investigation conducted by the Gampaha Division Crimes Bureau. In other local news, Payagala police have arrested a suspect known by the alias Pettimalli while in possession of heroin worth 300,000 rupees. The suspect, who had been involved in heroin trafficking in Payagala, was released only 2 weeks ago after being arrested and placed under remand custody over trafficking charges. Welcome back. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority says that despite the allegations levelled against top executives of the Adani Group by the US Securities and Exchange Commission, it will maintain stability regarding the Colombo West International Terminal project led by the Adani Group. In an interview with an India-based newspaper, SLPA Chairman Admiral Sirimevan Ranasinghe emphasised that there are no immediate plans to reassess or terminate the agreement. The US Securities and Exchange Commission issued a summons to Indian billionaire Gautam Adani on the 20th of this month, requiring him to appear before the federal court in the Eastern District of New York within 21 days. The summons followed federal prosecutors' issuance of an arrest warrant for both Gautam Adani and his nephew Sagar Adani, accusing them of bribing Indian officials to secure power supply deals while falsely claiming compliance with anti-bribery principles and laws to international investors. Against this backdrop, the Adani Group's projects worldwide have come under increased scrutiny, including the West Container Terminal Development Project at Sri Lanka's Colombo port. However, in an interview with the Indian business newspaper Economic Times, SLPA chairman Admiral Sirimavan Ranasinghe stated that so far no discussions have taken place regarding the cancellation of the deal with the Adani Group. He highlighted that the Adani Group has fulfilled its obligations under the agreement by bringing in necessary investments and equipment. The project has consistently progressed according to plan, making it a valuable component of Sri Lanka's economic infrastructure. Ranasinghe also remarked that while the bribery allegations against Gautam Adani and others in the US have attracted attention, these charges do not affect the operations of the Colombo terminal. As the owner of Colombo West International Terminal Private Limited has not been implicated in any illicit activity in Sri Lanka, the project will continue as planned. Meanwhile, the United States International Development Finance Corporation, which is partially funding the project, is conducting due diligence following the allegations against the Adani Group's chairman. The US agency has stated that it has not yet concluded a final agreement on the $553 million loan for the project and is reviewing the potential impact of the bribery allegations against the Adani Group's founder. The DFC agreed to finance the project in November last year but has yet to disburse any funds. In a stock update, the Colombo Bourse closed in positive territory today as a result of price gains in counters such as Sampath Bank, Hatton National Bank and Lion Brewery. The all-share price index climbed 0.88% to settle at 13,164.33 points, while the S&P SL20 climbed 1.06% to end at 3,917.62 points. Market turnover crossed 5 billion rupees. The banking sector was the top contributor to market turnover, followed by the capital goods sector. Foreign investors closed as net sellers, offloading shares worth 375.4 million rupees. And with that, let's take a look at the rupee exchange rate for the day. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a good night.